I am, I don't know what my title is at the company anymore, honestly, but I'm one of the founders of doTERRA, and I've been asked today to give you a presentation on the Lifelong Vitality Pack, and I'm thrilled to do that. And I'm going to give you, you're going to get almost the original version, okay? And that's appropriate because this new product that's now TGA certified here that you can get in Australia is the Lifelong Vitality Pack formula. You're getting the full product, okay? This is a wonderful product that you're getting here. And not every market outside the United States that gets lifelong vitality, I can say that because there's some compromises that we have to make to get it into those countries from a regulatory standpoint. But we're so thrilled that you guys get the full deal here. But I'm happy to give this presentation. You know, when we started doTERRA, it was just about a year into our company, or even less. What was it talking about? Anyway, I think it was about a year. And we launched this product, and I gave this presentation probably 100 times that first year. And I love giving this presentation. I have to tell you that before I got involved with doTERRA, I was in the dietary supplement industry for a number of years, and this product reflects a lot of sketches and a lot of my little journals that I kept over the years. I've had the opportunity to work in my career with some very bright biochemists, physiologists, and there was always this product that it seemed to me to make so much sense that the world ought to have this product, yet every company that I was working with, there was reasons why they wouldn't agree to making that product. So when I met Dr. Hill and my other partners at the start of doTERRA, we're an essential oil company, but I have a little caveat of getting involved with the company, and that is fine, but I get to birth my baby. I didn't use those words because they'd probably gross out over that, but I said I want to be able to launch this product. I said that's great, Rob, and we launched it, and it's been an extremely successful product, not only from a business standpoint, but most importantly, because we've had to change a lot of people's lives, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction because of that. Okay, but so I'm going to give you my version of the Lifelong Vitality Pack presentation. Is that all right? Okay. I've started my presentations around the world with a slide similar to this, even this picture in some places. And the question I have for people around the world is, do these people look healthy?
Yes.
Okay. Now I realize that I put this up here. I thought, well, you guys all look like this here in Australia. So it makes a difference when you're in this in Singapore. Okay, they look at that and say, yeah, okay, that's I guess this is your lifestyle here. But you know, I ask people around the world too. I say, do you think these people are happy? And they say yes. And do you think they're successful in their career? And they're like, yeah, okay. And I'm going, how do you know that? These models could be drug addicts for all we know. But we associate these times in our lives when we're successful and we're happy and we're confident with health, right? If we don't have our health, there's really not a lot of aspiration to anything else other than feeling well. But anybody here that's not in their 20s wish that they felt like they were in their 20s? All right, I turned 53 here in just a few months, and I kind of feel like I'd even take my 40s. But you know, what is it? You know, if I were to ask you, those of you that raise your hand, and I said, okay, so we're all getting older. Tell me what are indications that you're feeling older? Or feeling older. What would you say to that? Okay. Let me see if I guessed everything that's been said. Okay. Does this cover something for those of you that would like to feel a little bit younger? Okay. This is pretty common everywhere in the world. As we age, we start to notice things, right? Have more aches and pains. We have less energy. Okay. Our immune system seems to get sick easier. Okay. We don't sleep as well. Okay, we don't manage stress as well. Sometimes we have some low-grade anxiety that sets in. Okay. that's kind of a normal thing. That's part of our existence. When I'm not going to stand here today and tell you I don't have any answers to your dying. All right, everybody's going to die. But there's something we want to talk about, though, when it comes to, and they call this morbidity. And morbidity is this phase between when we die and when we get sick and die, okay? Now, in the world today, we actually live in a great time in the world's history. We can expect to live longer than our parents and our grandparents, but there's this little bit of a sad plateauing of this how long we might expect to live. And they say that perhaps our children will be the first generation that doesn't live longer than their parents. It's an interesting trend. It's a bad thing, okay? But the worst, the thing that I'm not happy about is not only maybe are we not going to see this death thing extend, but we have this early onset of chronic issues that last longer in our life. And we call that morbidity. And that's not the direction we want to be going, right? What we want to do is we both want to extend the duration of our life, but we want to compress all that morbidity into the last just short part of our lives, okay? We call that whole thing longevity or compression of morbidity, and I hope that's my goal. Okay, I tell my wife we're gonna live to be 100, and we're gonna take a wrong turn off a cliff on our mountain bikes, and then that's gonna really compress morbidity right for the last moments. Not on purpose, of course, but seriously, we want to compress that morbidity, right? I hope that's everybody's goal, and that's part of what we support at doTERRA, and that's what we support with this lifelong vitality product. So we have a philosophy at doTERRA. We have this right from the beginning of wellness, and this is a concept of helping you live younger longer. Right? And we call this our wellness pyramid. How many people have seen this before? So I hope this isn't brand new to everyone, but this is our wellness philosophy. And if we look at this wellness philosophy, these bottom parts of this pyramid have to do with our lifestyle choices, and the top part of this pyramid have to do with our healthcare choices. All right? But there's so much we can do when it comes to our lifestyle issues. Our essential oils play a role in all these areas, but really we have to consider eating right, exercising, resting, managing stress, and reducing toxic load. Those are all behavioral issues, and they clearly, if we're going to talk about longevity, this is a U.S. statistic, but I think it's applicable in most places in the world. But if you look at these different these are diseases in the U.S. We have diabetes, heart disease, stroke, colon cancer. Okay, we can reduce the incidence of all those primary things that contribute to morbidity and aging just through our lifestyle choices. All right, and today we're going to talk about some of the things we can do to help again compress that morbidity. We can talk about this from a macro level, from a lifestyle level, but I'm not going to do that today because I'm going to go back down to the micro level on a cellular level when it comes to our wellness, and we're going to talk about cell function today. Okay, life begins at the cellular level. If something doesn't have cellular activity, we don't consider it alive. Okay, and we're made up of millions of cells. So let's talk a little bit today about healthy cell function. That's how we're going to explain lifelong vitality and how it works. All right, so what is the role of a cell? Okay, cells have to do three things. First thing cells do is they make copies of themselves. And if you remember from your high school biology class, that's called biogenesis, right? That's where the cells divide. Okay, they make copies of themselves. Second thing cells do is they perform some type of specialized function. And that's driven by the instructions in the DNA that's found in the nucleus of each of our cells. Okay, pretty amazing that in each nucleus of our cell that we have DNA. That DNA has instructions for all our functioning, our body functioning in a healthy way, and growing and functioning in a healthy way. Okay, so that's the second thing cells do. The third thing cells do is if they don't do number one and number two appropriately, they have a built-in mechanism for self-destruction. Okay, and that auto-destruction is called apoptosis. All right, and that's a normal thing. It happens all the time in our cells. In fact, we turn over, they estimate, our body weight annually through this process of new cells and old cells dying. Okay, but we call that apoptosis. And if we're going to look at our longevity, all right, we can describe it with this diagram. It's just really a balance of the creation of new cells, the healthy function of specialized cells, and then the self-destruction of old cells as they age. Okay, and if we have that balance going on, we call it, there's a term they use, we call that cellular stasis, right? And that's what we want to have. If we're going to have health and vitality, we're going to have cellular stasis, all right? Now, scientists estimate that our cells, our organs, our tissues, our bodies, we actually have probably the capacity to live 120 years. Again, I didn't say we live forever, but they do believe that our cells and our organs and different body structures do have the capacity to live a lot longer than we're living. And by the way, we call that lifespan, okay? But then there's this other thing that we have that's called life expectancy, and that is just their prediction of how long we're going to live. And it varies a little bit by country, but you can see that, you know, we're not living as long as perhaps our cells and our body structures might be capable of. Okay, so why is there that gap between that lifespan potential and that life expectancy? Well, it is because throughout our lives we have different stressors on that cellular stasis, okay? And we're going to talk about some of those stressors today. But those stressors include things like infectious microbes, okay? Things make us sick, okay? We have toxic molecules, okay? We have nutritional deficiencies that can lead to that imbalance of that cellular stasis, okay? And then obviously we have the potential to ourselves of traumatic injury, although sometimes traumatic industry can cause toxic molecules. We'll talk about that too. So anyway, today we're going to talk more specifically about some toxic molecules and also nutritional deficiencies when it comes to our cell health, all right? Just a word on infectious microbes, though. When we talk about infectious microbes, we're talking about bacteria and viruses and different infectious microbes that can make us sick. Okay, we're exposed to those infectious microbes along different pathways. Okay, through our skin, through our gut, things that enter through our mouth, things that enter through our lungs. All right. Now, what can we do when it comes to infectious microbes? Well, number one, we can avoid them. Try to protect ourselves, those exposure pathways from those infectious microbes getting in. We can obviously try to kill those or clean those infectious microbes. Washing our hands is a new idea of the modern world that have saved millions of lives. Okay. Also, we can support our own body's immune system to fight those infectious microbes. If they do get inside of us, we have a great immune system with immune cells. We can help fight our body's support our body's fight against those infectious microbes. I bring this up because I want to mention that we do a pretty good job, don't we, with infectious microbes when it comes to the use of essential oils. How many of you use On Guard? Everybody love On Guard? Okay, that's my go-to oil everywhere as I travel around the world. Okay, and On Guard is a great way to support our body's defenses against those infectious microbes. Okay, diffusing On Guard is a wonderful way to guard against those airborne pathogens that might be putting that stress on our cells. Okay, so we can use On Guard to help fight those infectious microbes. All right, let's talk about some of the other cellular stressors though that might put our cell stasis out of balance. And I'm going to talk again about those toxic molecules and nutritional deficiencies. Okay. And we're thrilled today that you get these new products in Australia. So we're going to talk specifically how the Lifelong Vitality Pack can keep this all in balance, all right? Now, I'm only going to talk about certain 3 or 4 concepts about benefits of Lifelong Vitality Pack today, but I wanted to make sure that you understand it. We could go 2 days straight on all the clinically supported benefits that you would get from Lifelong Vitality, from your bone health to your brain health, cardiovascular health, okay? But we're just going to talk about some concepts of aging and longevity today, all right? And we're going to use this chart to show these things that are accelerating aging. All right, so first we're going to talk about a concept about oxidation. Okay, oxidation is a term we use to describe the damage that this group of molecules, these toxic molecules, can cause to our cells and our different body's structures. All right, free radicals are unstable molecules with unpaired electrons that steal electrons from other stable molecules. And when they steal those molecules from those electrons from other molecules, they turn them into free radicals, and then they in turn go steal other electrons from other stable molecules, and that destructive chain reaction is what we call oxidation. Okay? Now, when that happens on a cellular level, that can cause a lot of problems. Now, there's outside sources or extrinsic sources of free radicals, and there's inside sources of free radicals. Okay? Our extrinsic or outside sources of free radicals to which we're exposed include things like sunlight, okay, and radiation from the sun. They include pollutions that we breathe, that we're exposed to in the air and the products in our home and different poisons around us. If you choose to smoke cigarettes, there are 1 quadrillion free radicals per inhalation. So that's one way to put a huge toxic stress, free radical stress on your system, all right? I don't know if any of you know where this is, but I know where this is because this is my new home. I just moved to Shanghai a few months ago, and I love Shanghai. I love China, love the people there, love everything we're doing there, but there's one inescapable fact of Shanghai, and that is there's a lot of air pollution, okay? And it's just as full of free radicals that I'm breathing all the time, all right? I'll show you, to try to prevent that, I bought this fancy mask filter so I could continue running outside and exercising outside, so I bought this fancy, and I wore this, and my sons at home told me, they said, "Dad, you look like Bane." Man, so, okay. But this is a serious problem, living in China and living in large industrialized cities, is you have this toxic assault from pollution, free radical stress on your cells, all right? But I will say that is not the biggest stress on my cells. It's not the biggest concern for you when it comes to your cells, when it comes to free radicals, because our bodies actually produce free radicals that pose a threat to the longevity and stability of our cells, okay? When we're sick, when we are under stress, when we have inflammation, our body is actually generating these free radicals. But in addition to that, and most of all, we are producing free radicals in every one of our cells just through the process of eating and breathing and exercising, all right? If you remember, in our cells, we have these little cell structures called the mitochondria. And they're like the little engines of our cells. And in those engines is where we combine oxygen that we breathe and the food that we eat, usually in the form of glycogen. We combine those in these little mitochondria engines, and we produce an energy chemical called ATP. All right, and without the ATP, we wouldn't live. Okay, that ATP is the energy chemical that gives us all motion and life, okay? But in that process, just like the car engine, there is a toxic exhaust, and that exhaust is in the form of free radicals, all right? And when those free radicals are produced in our cells, those free radicals can go to damage cellular structures, all right? And especially, they pose a threat to the DNA of our cells. Okay, and if our DNA is not functioning correctly, we're not going to get that nice cell biogenesis or stasis that we talked about, all right? Now, here, let me go back one step. Can you feel that happening in your body right now? Should we all go home? That's a depressing thought, isn't it? Should we just all go back to our rooms and lay in bed and just die? Yeah. This happens in every cell in our bodies all the time, okay? Now, do you think Mother Nature would design our incredible bodies in such a way that she wouldn't have an answer for this? She wouldn't. Doesn't make sense, right? So she does have an answer for that, and the answer, it comes in the form of some stable molecules that we call antioxidants. And antioxidants are stable molecules with one or more electrons to share. So when they come in contact with free radicals, they're happy to share those molecules, stabilize those free radicals, and we can stop that destructive oxidation on a cellular level, all right? And just like free radicals, we have both outside sources of antioxidants, and we have internal sources of antioxidants. Our bodies produce antioxidants, but our bodies depend heavily on the consumption of antioxidants in the food we eat. And that's why we say, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, okay? And I'm going to say that again today. In addition to taking Lifelong Vitality, everybody, I want you to eat lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, okay? Especially the colorful ones. Those are rich in antioxidants that our body depends on to balance out the production of those free radicals in food metabolism and in living, okay? And teach your kids to love fruits and vegetables. This is a great blessing you can give your kids, okay? We want to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. But in addition to increasing our consumption of antioxidants in our foods, we also can consider the consumption of a dietary supplement that is rich in antioxidants, okay? And a Lifelong Vitality Pack is very, very rich when it comes to supplemental antioxidants, okay? You have a blend of polyphenols in the program of carotenoids. You have alpha-lipoic acid, CoQ10, antioxidant essential oils, and vitamins and minerals. I'm going to talk briefly about some of those, okay? Now, if we choose to use a dietary supplement for antioxidant support, one of the things you want to make sure is you use a product that is rich in this class of antioxidants that we call polyphenols, okay? And polyphenols have been demonstrated to have a real high capacity to neutralize lots of free radicals, okay? And you get a whole blend of polyphenols in the product, and particularly in the alpha CRS, you have a group of antioxidants, and you may have heard of some of them before, like resveratrol and ellagic acid from a pomegranate. We get proanthocyanins from grapeseed in the product, okay? But you want to make sure that you get a good blend of these super powerful polyphenols, and you get that in the alpha CRS. Another ingredient that you get in the alpha CRS product is milk thistle. And milk thistle is important because it has a component of milk thistle that's called silymarin. And the milk thistle that we use in alpha CRS in your product is standardized to this silymarin content. Well, silymarin is interesting because silymarin provides some protection for your liver, okay? And it helps protect your liver against, your liver is where we're processing all these toxic chemicals that enter our body. So it does protect your liver from, as it's performing that detoxification function, it helps prevent damage to the liver. But also, importantly, is silymarin triggers the production of an enzyme in your liver called glutathione. And glutathione is a ubiquitous, powerful antioxidant that you have throughout your body. Okay, so again, you're taking those supplemental polyphenols, but you're also getting this silymarin from this milk thistle that is triggering your body's own internal production of glutathione, which is a powerful antioxidant that you need throughout your body, all right? You also get a blend of a class of antioxidants that we call carotenoids, okay? And carotenoids are, you know some of them, so your vitamin A's, but we also have lutein, lycopene, and some unique carotenoid antioxidants called astaxanthin and zeaxanthin in the product, okay? Carotenoids have been shown to help with a number of issues. The Z omega product, this X that makes it Z omega, comes from this word astaxanthin. And this is a carotenoid that you don't usually find in a lot of antioxidant products because it's hard to stabilize and it's expensive to put in a product. But we put it in our product as a primary carotenoid in that Z omega product. But astaxanthin is a well-studied carotenoid, shows specific benefits for circulatory health, One of the interesting things, astaxanthin can pass the blood-brain barrier to help provide antioxidant protection in your brain. It's been demonstrated to help with muscle strength and endurance, and it supports immune function. There's a lot of things that not only astaxanthin, but this family of carotenoids can help in your health. Now, our astaxanthin actually comes from Israel. And it's an interesting process how we get our astaxanthin. Out in the middle of the desert, they have these glass tubes where they pump a microalgae, okay? And the microalgae is living in these glass tubes. Well, they expose the glass tubes to the sun. They just live out here in the sun, and then all of a sudden you see that the green algae turn to this bright red color, okay? And what's happening is this microalgae is producing this astaxanthin carotenoid to protect itself from the free radical damage of the sun, from the sun rays, okay? And this is a defense mechanism. So when this microalgae gets all engorged with this astaxanthin, then we go in and extract it and standardize that, and that's what you're getting. That's what turns the Zeo Mega product, that bright red that you're seeing. You're seeing this astaxanthin that we're able to pull out of that algae. Anyway, interesting process. In addition to those carotenoids in Zeo Mega, you also have a blend of our CPTG essential oils. And in addition to doing other things, these essential oils have also been demonstrated to have powerful antioxidant activity. It makes this a very unique product to have the carotenoids with the fish oils, but also with these essential oils in this product. And these are powerful antioxidants. You also get a number of vitamins and minerals that, in addition to providing nutrition to your cells, also function as antioxidants. And you get a blend of those in Microplex VMZ. So anyway, again, we could go on for 3 days just about each one of those ingredients. But I hope you can see that in the Lifelong Vitality Program, you're going to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, right? But you're providing your body with this super antioxidant blend that's going to provide a guarantee to balance out that free radical stress in your body and prevent that damage and that destruction to your cells, okay? There's a test you can do. It's called ORAC, and we did this test when it comes to LLV, kind of a measurement of the antioxidant capacity of a food or a supplement. And you're getting the equivalent of over 12 servings of fruits and vegetables, the antioxidant capacity of 12 servings of fruits and vegetables when you take that LLV on a daily basis. So that's something that you want to do and make that a lifelong commitment when it comes to antioxidants, all right? So that kind of deals with this oxidation side of this aging equation, okay? But now I want to talk about the second side of this equation, and it's called inflammation. But I want to start with a quiz. Okay, raise your hand if you think inflammation is bad. Okay, raise your hand if you think inflammation is good. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's both. Okay, everybody raise it. You can copy the third. Okay. Inflammation actually is a normal, healthy thing. When our cells are put under duress or stress, when they encounter some type of attack, okay, our cells respond in a defensive manner, and that's a normal thing. If we didn't have any inflammation, that would be a problem. The first time we got an infection, it would overtake us and we'd die. Okay, so inflammation is a normal thing, but inflammation is supposed to look like this. When our cells come under pressure, they respond in a defensive way, and then they're supposed to relax again. And then they encounter some type of stress, and it goes up and it goes down, okay? And we call that acute inflammation, okay? And that's a normal thing. Our bodies were designed to do that, okay? But when our cells are put under constant stress, and one of those ways we can put our cells under constant stress, if they're under constant stress of free radicals without that balancing antioxidants to neutralize that, our cells then can be constantly in the state of defensive readiness, okay? And if we don't manage our free radical load on our cells, okay, then that can lead to what we call chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation is not a good thing. It's just your cells always being on a super hyper defensive posture. Chronic inflammation has been associated with a number of degenerative aging conditions, okay? All pain is associated with inflammation, okay? We have autoimmune disorders that we can tie directly to chronic inflammation. Heart disease is really an oxidative stress issue. It's an inflammatory issue when we talk about heart disease and why that's a problem. There's a lot of, as we age, there's a lot of brain issues, diseases that can are specifically tied to in chronic inflammation in our brain. Okay, even some forms of cancer can be associated with chronic inflammation. Now, I'm not saying we're curing anything of that today. Okay, but you do need to understand that inflammation can be good. In fact, we need inflammation, but also too much inflammation can be a bad thing. All right. Now, how do we manage then chronic inflammation? We go back to these lifestyle things that we've been talking about. Okay, eating lots of fruits and vegetables. Okay, and eating other healthy foods. Exercising, managing our weight can lower that inflammatory response in our bodies. Getting proper rest. If you don't get enough sleep, a lot of stress on our bodies, we can have that, our bodies responding with chronic inflammation, okay? But there are some things we can do nutritionally, right on the bottom of this chart. We can do some things nutritionally to help also balance that kind of defensive response on a cellular level. One of the things we can do has to do with a nutrient that we call essential fatty acids that we get in our diet. So let me explain that a little bit more. Each one of our cells is surrounded by a membrane. Okay, it's a lipid membrane, and basically that lipid membrane keeps the water out here separate from the water in here. Okay, we have this lipid membrane, and it's made up of lipids or fats. This lipid membrane is really smart. When it interacts with some type of stimulus, it sends messages to the nucleus of our cell, and then our cells respond with some kind of response, and that can be inflammation. Well, in our cells, and again, this membrane is primarily made up, is primarily made up of these fatty acids, and there's a number of them, but there's two primary fatty acids, and those are omega-3s and omega-6s that make up the cell membranes of our cells. Now, omega-6s, those are considered kind of pro-inflammatory. They send that kind of a stimulus to our cells, saying, put up your dukes. Okay, they're standing on the wall, they're saying, we're being attacked, so it's kind of like they're crying wolf. Okay, so they're alarming, they're kind of pro-inflammatory. While the omega-3s, on the other hand, those essential fatty acids, they kind of send messages of calm down, it's okay. We don't have to go crazy with this thing. Okay, so, we want to have a balance of those omega-6, omega-3 fatty acids. Now, our body doesn't produce those, okay? We get those fatty acids from the foods that we eat, okay? And in our diets, we ought to have a balance, a nice ratio, 1-to-1 ratio of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, all right? But what do you think today's modern world balance is? Okay? This is not, there's estimates that this is conservative, I think, that we're probably completely out of balance when it comes to the consumption of omega-6s that come from all the fatty foods we eat, and not enough omega-3s. Okay, so what can we do to balance this out? Well, we can eat more foods that contain omega-3s, and those are primarily fish, come from fish, fresh fish that we eat, but I guess you guys have access to fresh fish here in Australia, but not everybody has access to a lot of fish in their diets. Okay, so it's really prudent that we consider using an omega-3 fatty acid supplement, and that you get a good dose of these omega-3 fatty acids in the Z omega product. All right, in the Z omega product, you're going to get a full a gram or 1,000 milligrams of these fatty acids, but they have been standardized to contain a balance of a particular type of omega-3 fatty acid called EPA and DHA, and then we also have another one called GLA. Okay, so this is a great blend, a great way that you want to take this every day to consume more of those calming omega-3 fatty acids in your diet. Okay, we source those those essential fatty acids from fish, and we also source from plants. This is a very pure oil source. It's been tested against pesticides or any heavy metals. This is the highest quality blend of omega-3 fatty acids that's available out there. So anyway, so you get those beautiful omega-3 fatty acids that can help mediate that cellular response when you take Z omega, right? Now, we talked about those polyphenols being powerful antioxidants, but when they study these same polyphenols, guess what? They also help mediate that cellular response, so they're calming too. We have a particular polyphenol that's in that group of polyphenols in alpha CRS called Boswellia serrata. Anybody recognize that word, Boswellia? Okay, this isn't frankincense, but it's a cousin tree to frankincense. Okay, it's the Boswellia family. Okay, now they have some components of that. They're not the essential oils, but they have what we call boswellic acids, and those have been studied to be very powerful when it comes to inflammatory response or mediating that inflammatory response. These are not drugs. They're not like COX-2 inhibitors, like your anti-inflammatory drugs, but they've been shown that when you use this Boswellia serrata, it helps your body kind of stay in that mediated zone when it comes to your cellular response. Okay, very important that we consider this alpha CRS product. Okay, also those same essential oils that function as antioxidants also have been studied for their anti-inflammatory or cell-mediating activity. Okay, so it's, again, you're getting all these things together. Okay, so on one side you're getting that a huge dose of this antioxidant protection, and on the other side we're helping to with that mediation. If we do that, then we can maybe slow down that aging process. Okay, we're still going to age, we're still going to get older, but we can start to compress that morbidity into more to the end of our life. Okay, now everybody happy with that? Okay, everybody like to live a little bit longer? Okay, but a lot of times I hear this. Okay, look, it's really not for me a matter of life span or life expectancy. If I'm not going to feel good, I mean, you can hook me up to machines, put me on a lot of drugs, but if I don't feel good, that's not my ultimate goal. Okay, and that's not my goal. Okay, my goal is I want to live a long time. Okay, I have a beautiful family, I love my kids, my wife. Okay, but I don't want to live longer if I'm not going to feel younger during that time. Okay, and so we've addressed that too when we formulated the LLV. This is one of our specific goals, was both to extend lifespan maybe, but also to improve the quality of life as we get to that lifespan. All right. This is my slide for all the 20-year-olds in the room that don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about aging, okay? Maybe, but this is common, isn't it? Okay? We're running at 1,000 miles an hour. We have this fast-paced life. Any of you feel like this? So what do we do in this situation? We turn to some kind of stimulant, right? Oh, where's my coffee? I gotta have my coffee to wake up, okay? Why is it that when we age, this is probably one of the more common things. Besides pain, this is probably the most common thing that I hear when I ask people if they feel like they're aging. And it's just they don't have that same energy that they used to, okay? So why is it that we kind of have this, as we get older, that we feel a little bit more tired and run down, we don't have that same energy that we did when we were younger, okay? Well, there's kind of two reasons, okay? One, as you guessed, that we've been talking about, one is a behavioral thing, okay? If we're not getting the rest we need and we're not supporting our body against sickness, we're not eating right, we're not exercising, we're overweight, well, all those things obviously contribute to that lack of energy, okay? But there's also some things that we just simply can't avoid, okay? As we age, we are going to start to have diminished mitochondria function. Okay, let's talk about the mitochondria once again. Remember, we're going to use this little engine analogy. So, back to what we were talking about. We're producing this ATP chemical in our cells, and again, our feelings of having energy and vitality are going to be dependent, in large part, on how much ATP our cells are producing. Now, as we age, there's a problem. Okay, as we age, they find that we start to have fewer mitochondria per cell. Those mitochondria are less efficient at their output of energy, and the exhaust that they put out is more toxic as we age, and that's again putting pressure on our cells and actually putting pressure on the mitochondria itself. Okay, so that's one of the reasons that we feel this diminished energy as we age. Okay, and it's kind of like basically our cars get old, all right? Our engines get old and our cells have this oxidative rust that's happening. Okay, so what can we do? Are there things we can do nutritionally? Yes. There are a number of nutritional factors that we have in the alpha CRS. We call it our cellular energy blend. And those are ingredients that help with the chemistry of that mitochondria function. Okay, and they include these, the quercetin, coenzyme Q10, resveratrol, and then alpha-lipoic acid and acetyl-L-carnitine. Again, those are all in the product to help with the chemistry and the healthy young functioning of the mitochondria in our cells. If we take these on a regular basis, okay, there's a lot of words on this slide, but you just need to remember simply, if we take those energy factors in alpha CRS, okay, we're going to increase the number of mitochondria per cell, okay, we're going to support the mitochondria power output per cell, all right, and we're going to manage that toxic exhaust better from the mitochondria, and that's going to keep our mitochondria functioning like it does when we're younger. All right, so we're going to turn you in a brand new car. Okay. There's one other ingredient though that we put in the alpha CRS to help us with kind of that feeling of energy, and that is we put in ginkgo biloba because that supports mind energy. Okay, it's not just physical energy, but we want to be sharp in our mind. If we use that car analogy, this is like I'm giving you a nice music playlist, okay? So you're going to be in your new car, but you're going to be kind of having fun, rocking out, okay, with this ginkgo biloba. Okay, that's to have you have that mental clarity. So when you forget where you put your keys, okay, we're going to have you, the older you get, we're going to try to help with that too. Okay, so we'll put this mind ingredient in there, okay? What it's not in there for, though, is this, okay? I want to make a point, this is an important point when it comes to lifelong vitality pack, okay? We're not putting in the product for your energy. We're not using sugars or stimulants. Okay, I could formulate a product and put certain stimulants in there and some sugar in there, and I could get you all feeling real good this morning, all right? But what happens if I do that? What's going to happen after you feel good? You're going to go down. And you know what? What is that going to generate in our body? Okay? It's going to generate that stress. Our cells are going to respond in that defensive way, and that's going to contribute to that chronic inflammation. Okay, and we don't want that. Okay, if you're caught in that stimulant up and down path, you're really creating a stressful situation in your body that's going to accelerate aging. It's going to accelerate that inflammation in your body. All right. Okay. So there are other energy factors, though. We have those specific energy factors in alpha CRS. Those essential fatty acids that we talked about, okay? Those are also critical for energy production in your body. And there's certain vitamins and minerals that, in addition to providing nutritional value and acting as antioxidants, there are certain vitamins and minerals that are also necessary for that chemistry in your cells when it comes to ATP production and energy production, okay? I'm not going to talk a lot about microplex VMC today, but you do get those important energy factors. Microplex VMZ is a blend of essential vitamins and essential minerals, okay, in a balanced formula that you're going to take to provide your cells with the nutrients they need for all the functions of your cells, okay? The Z, I'm sorry, the font that I was using is not coming across translating in Australia. But the Z in the VMZ actually stands for enzymes. Okay, we combine those vitamins, we combine those minerals in a format with those food enzymes to help your body metabolize, digest those nutrients in the VMZ. Okay, anyway, that's a great product. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that today, other than to remind you that those vitamins and minerals, again, they function as antioxidants, they function to help with energy production, and they also provide other nutritional benefits to your cells to help with longevity and vitality, all right? So in summary, when we look at the Lifelong Vitality Pack, in Alpha CRS, we get this wonderful blend of antioxidants, powerful antioxidants. We get a blend of the cellular energy blend to help support that mitochondria function. In Z Omega, we have a blend of those essential fatty acids that we talked about that are so important and critical to the cellular response to different challenges to the cell. You get those wonderful blend of carotenoids, very unique. And by the way, we put those the carotenoid antioxidants here in Z Omega rather as opposed to putting in with this antioxidant blend because these are oil soluble ingredients, right? And they blend well in the Z Omega. And then you also get these essential oils that have these powerful functions in the Z Omega. These make this Z Omega an extremely unique fish oil product. It's not just a fish oil product. This is an essential fatty acid product and more in the Z Omega product. And then in your vitamins, in your microplex VMZ, you get your essential vitamins and essential minerals with those food enzymes to help you metabolize those nutrients. Okay, so that's the summary of those of the ingredients in the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Now, let me ask the question. Raise your hand if you take, we have a lot of people that take the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Raise your hand or give a shout out if you think Lifelong Vitality Pack has changed your life in some way. The most common things that we would hear back from people when we launch this product, okay, these are all things that it doesn't surprise us anymore when we hear people say that these are things that happen to them. Actually, we formulated the product expecting this would happen, but it even surpassed our expectations. As we got into LLV and we started having people use LLV, it really is a product that people can feel a difference fairly quickly too when they take the product, okay? But if people ask me what are the things that I hear most, I say, people feel more energy, they feel less pain, okay? Their immune system is stronger, and then there's a fourth category that kind of falls into this kind of emotional, they feel less anxiety, feel a little bit more calm, sleep better, kind of have a brighter outlook on life, okay? Now, I suppose that if someone has less pain, more energy, and gets sick less often, that probably contributes to the feeling good about things. But there are scientific reasons and ingredients that we do expect that you'd have this kind of overall more, these benefits when it comes to that kind of that emotional category, okay? And we've heard that story over and over again from tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people who continue to take a Lifelong Vitality Pack as a daily program, all right? That was a quick presentation, wasn't it? Okay? Yeah, I hope, those are just several reasons. We will come back. We'll have Dr. Hill come back, and he can go on for several days. We ought to have a Lifelong Vitality convention, or we just talked about all those. But I truly am committed to taking the LLV to these principles of lifestyle, and then supplementing our good lifestyle choices with the LLV. And I really, it's been a benefit to me, it's been a benefit to my family and my friends, and it's when I have people come up to me, and you don't have to, I'm not asking you to do this, but I have lots of people come up to me over the years, and they tell me their story, how they got on LLV and how it's changed their lives, and gives me a lot of satisfaction to know that that's happening. We expected it would happen. It succeeded our expectations. And now you guys get to use that product right here. You don't have to have that shit. So anyway, that's a big announcement for everybody today. So that's you got my original LLV presentation today. So okay.